All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Money Matters with Hill Financial Group. I'm Casey Harding, and this is
Mike Hill.
and this is episode 36. All right, there we go. And today's topic, we're going to be talking about turning your paycheck into a plan and how building wealth without feeling deprived. So that's the title
Yeah.
of this episode. Yeah, we're just going to talk about how we utilize our paychecks as kind of your wealth building machine, if you will. As Dave likes to say, it is your biggest net wealth building machine is your income, and so yeah, we're gonna jump in and talk through that today. Mike, the first one is what's kind of the mind shift from spending to planning?
Well,
How do we shift from that?
what we see is that the mindset that I've seen with a lot of people is if you make $100, you spend $100.
Yeah.
If you make $90, you spend $90. Your lifestyle isn't different, as
Mm-hmm.
crazy as that sounds, but it's like we know what we're going to make. So we automatically equate, well, that's how much stuff we could buy. Even I've seen it where people get a bonus.
Yep.
Well, I got a $5,000 bonus coming, so I can buy more stuff that equals that bonus.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not, that's the main part of this topic is you don't want to deprive yourself, but you have to have goals. And so to your point, just like Dave Ramsey says, it is the biggest part of building your wealth is income, but money is just gasoline.
Yeah.
And it could either be for a huge semi pickup truck or semi truck, or it could be for a little Fiat, but it depends where you are. But at the end of the day, the more super gasoline you put into that car, the more efficiency you're going to have, the more it's going to run better, the more it's going to grow better using that scenario. But spending, always tell people when we're like we do when retirement, I can control the side that comes in. I can control what we could expect to make. I can control what we have. You have to control the equation of what you're spending.
Yeah.
And those are hard conversations to have. But it's also when you retire,
Yeah.
paycheck's gone.
Yeah.
So you are your own paycheck. So I love that we're getting into this topic. But I think we're going to pretty much see how to take control of that. What are some things that we could pass on to our viewers? And please like and share and subscribe and all the things, but some things that we can pass on to our viewers today that maybe would help them with paycheck. It seems easy. Well, we make it, Michael say, no, it's
For sure.
if it wasn't that, I think what is the number? Over 60% of the United States has less than 100,000 saved up in any kind of retirement, any kind of
Yeah. Or even $1,000 in their bank.
yeah.
It's like
So that's kind of where it's alarming, and that's where it's like if you're just relying on Social Security for retirement, you're not going to have the same lifestyle you do now.
well, that biggest principle that we talked about early in some of our episodes of just paying yourself first.
Yes.
That being so the next thing that we kind of want to hop into is just the practical steps in breaking down your paycheck and what kind of buckets we should be saving into. So when you're looking at that breakdown, Mike, what do you think is kind of general rule of thumb? Like how do you break up your fixed like expenses versus discretionary versus savings? What's the
So, I mean, we talked about this in the last one. 15% of everything you make should go directly toward yourself.
yeah
We talk about this all the time. 15%. You need to be paying yourself 15%. You are a bill. I've said this numerous times. If you just put 15% away, yes, I'd rather have put other monies in other areas, but if you just put 15% away,
yeah
you can live off the other 85. I
Yeah.
know teachers that make 60 grand a year that put 10 to 15% away, and they have the same lifestyle as somebody that makes double that.
Yeah.
Because too many people get stuck with keeping up with the Joneses. They watch Facebook and all the things. Everybody puts their highlights on social media. I've yet to see that social media post where somebody comes in and goes, "Hey, everybody, I'm a loser today. I'm not great in life." Nobody ever shows that on this. So my point, not to get off the subject, is pay yourself 15%. We can go over budgeting tools Your house with your insurance would be somewhere between 25 to 28%, which is harder now with higher interest rates and insurance premiums going up. And your car should be around 15%. That's how much your car payment should be for your entire family, not just you. You have kids that drive cars like me, your budget should be 15% for them. But yeah, so I like to use 50% for expenses. That's your everything. That's your household. That's this, and then you know anywhere 15% for your savings. But anyway, I don't know if I rambled on and went all over the place. But pay yourself first, and it should be 15%.
Yeah. And what are the easiest ways to automate that? What do you think?
Well, direct deposit. We all have it at our banks. I get people all the time that why are 401ks so popular? Or why are they work?
Yeah, they work.
PM's out of your check every single month. If you had to write it,
you don't see it. Yeah, you can't spend it.
If you had to write a check and send it off to the 401k company, you're not going to do it.
Yeah,
you're not going to. Christmas happens. Oh, we had a hot water heater. It has to be no different than the electric bill. Your retirement is a bill.
Yeah,
you're either gonna and. So many people, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but I'll go up and bring it out. So many people between the ages of 30 and 50, 35 and 50.
Yeah.
They're at the point where they're having kids. They're married.
Yep.
You're probably in more debt between those areas than you are when you are between 50
It feels like you're paycheck to paycheck.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I get all that. But retirement is way over here. But that is the time you should be focused on it because you got 20 to 25 years of compounding interest. The market's averaged somewhere around 10% a year for the last 30. I mean,
yeah,
that's on your side. At 55, if you want to start, you don't have the ability of compounding interest working for you.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Go ahead.
well, I was just going to kind of piggyback on that. That's when I'm talking with my clients about like, okay, when does your paycheck usually come in? Okay, well, let's set up that, if we're doing $100 a month into the Roth IRA, we're just going to take that out as, the next day. So as soon as it hits your account, we're drafting it the next day. So you can't spend it because it's already out of your account and moved over, whether it be a Roth IRA or an investment account that we've got set up for them.
I mean, a question to ask people is, okay, would you not pay for health insurance? Would you have a family with no health insurance? But you may have a year or 2 or 3 where you have no health issues, but you're still paying into that health insurance premium. I could tell you right now, for a matter of fact, you are going to be at a point in your life where you cannot work anymore.
Yeah.
Or you're not going to want to, or you may be laid off, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That is absolutely going to happen. A car accident, a health scare, all the things that might happen, but you still pay on that anyway. And I'm not saying we take away from that. That's a priority. But the mindset is, well, it's retirement. I'll get to it when I get to it. I'm 51, and yesterday I was 30.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, I always tell my kids, I used to tell my kids, I wish when they would always, oh, Dad, this guy's picking on me, in high school, I go, I wish the 4 years in high school and how long it felt was like that the rest of your life. I have shoes that I bought 4 years ago that I'm like, man, I bought those 4 years ago. I've only worn them a couple of, that kind of shit. Again, I'm going to be all over the place here. It's just automatic is 1,000% the best way to do it. You set it up to where it comes out. You don't see it. You do that with college savings plans. You do that with your 401k. You do that with a Roth IRA. You just automatic. If it's not automatic, you're making a mistake.
So what would you say for people who they are in a job where they do get a bonus versus maybe other jobs where they don't get a bonus? How would you kind of fund money? How would you account for we want to plan for the vacation, but we don't get a bonus. So how do we build that into that?
You make that automatic too. And we talked about this in other podcasts. You have an account set up, and let's call it, I don't know, Hawaii. Okay. Yeah. And you and your wife look at, okay, let's budget how much Hawaii is. It's $8,000 or whatever to go with the family. Yeah. Whatever it is. I don't know, Disney World.
Sure.
And you set that up as well. So you're paying 15% to your retirement. Maybe it's 5% of your paycheck that it comes out of your checking account on the 10th of every month to a savings account, and you name it Hawaii. Yeah. Why? Because you'll eat less Chick-fil-A, you'll go to Starbucks less, and all that. If that money is you had to take away from Hawaii. You're going to be like, no, I'm going to Hawaii.
Yeah. Even if you have to open up a separate bank account from what you're operating, Wells Fargo or Chase or whoever we normally bank with, but we're going to open up XYZ bank over here so that it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. It's our Hawaii fund. It's our Disney.
Bonus has become a part of salary. but they could always be taken away.
Mhm.
I've seen it where companies have done that.
Yeah.
They've taken away company stock. They've taken away bonuses because they have a down cycle or whatever. That's fine. I think bonuses are just that. It is bonus. Yes, use some of that for your fun money, but that also 15% of that should be going towards your retirement.
Yeah, no,
Because
absolutely.
you need to be planning. I see so many people that say, I'm going to get a bonus in January. It's our annual bonus we get in January. So I'm going to go buy all these Christmas gifts and all these things on my credit card now because
Right.
I'm paying it off.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
again, you're spending every cent you have.
Even before it's in your bank.
And everybody's answer is, I just need to make more money.
Hmm.
No.
Yeah.
You need to pay yourself first. Then what you make is just going towards the bills that you can afford.
For sure.
Don't spend beyond your means, is what I would say. How do you? I kind of had this written down, but
Yeah.
how do you get somebody where they can, like, you get somebody like me? I love to have fun. I love to do all the things. But when I write a check for a vacation,
Hmm.
and I think vacations are very important, you have to have a time to decompress, connect with family. But when I write a check to go on a vacation, I feel guilty.
Yeah.
I feel like, man. So what advice would you give somebody on how do you get away from? I'm doing the opposite.
Yeah, yeah.
Not the people that go on
Right.
vacation
Yeah,
for 2
yeah.
months and can't afford it. How do you get away from those people that are kind of, I don't know.
Guilt for doing something fun. Yeah.
Off instead of putting toward babies?
Yeah. No, I think, I think that is just a mental challenge that type of person has, where it's like they just feel guilty for spending, money on themselves, or seeing a lot of money go out all at once. And,
Yeah.
and so it's like, oh, God, well, we felt like we had so much money, but now all this just went out for this, fun experience. But I do think, like, especially the younger generation, that's what they want. They want those fun experiences. And so I think it feels. I think it's harder for the older generation where they have built up. Yeah, no, exactly. So it is. It's just this mindset shift of of like, it's okay for me to save for this and then go. And if you have saved for it, don't feel guilty. You set it aside. It was for a purpose. It's not this frivolous thing. Like, if you make a plan and then you go and execute it, don't feel guilty. Enjoy it.
And you had written down on here, this is one of Casey's notes. Can you kind of go through what a 50-30-20 rule is? I've heard that a bunch.
Yeah. So 50% should be your essentials. Spending 50% of
Mortgage.
mortgage, groceries, utilities, all of that should be kind of in 50% of your overall income. 30% towards discretionary, 20% towards savings. So the retirement can be 15. That's kind of
And then savings.
10 to 15 for retirement, and then the 5 for vacations and things like that. So that's kind of where that 20% kind of is coming from. But yeah, so, and I one of the things that we've talked about, and definitely a heart for, I think, both of us, is just like, we're not accounting for that first, call it a tithe, just being generous. Whether that's 10%, 5%, 20%, whatever that is, conviction wise for you, like, that's coming out first, and then we're looking at that 50-30-20. So that's just something I want to throw out there, because
tithing's definitely a part of that.
I think it's that idea of just being generous with what you've been given and stewarding it well.
I think also and this is, I'm with you. I think 10% absolutely. But I've also had some people, Mike, I'm trying to really catch up. Okay, tithing doesn't always have to be 10% of your income. It can be 5% of your income and 5% of your time.
Sure.
10% of your time. Give back to the church, give back to the community, give back to the things that are important.
Yeah.
Do those things.
Definitely.
But because I absolutely. But I would tell you the biggest thing I want to just stay on is living paycheck to paycheck. And how do you get out of this vicious cycle? We see it so much with younger. Just because, I can't make this clear, just because a salesperson, when I say salesperson, I say a mortgage lender, a car salesman, a furniture salesman, does your credit app and says you can afford this. I cannot tell you the amount of car payments that have reached above $1,000 a month has almost hit over 45% in the United States.
It's crazy.
My first house payment was $1,000 a month, and I get it, I'm older, but $1,000 a month on an asset that you are for sure going to lose money on. You are for sure going to lose money on. You're not going to make money on that car unless it is a classic car and all the things. And hopefully you ain't driving that every day.
Right.
And if you buy one of those, hopefully you don't have a payment on that. You paid it outright because it's an investment. But I can't tell you enough. Well, they said at the car dealership over 72 months at least rate, my payment would be $900. But you make 60 grand a year. Why do you have to have a car where your payment is $1,000 a month? I see that, not to pick on the younger generation, more than any generation. It's the TikTok influence. I think I can't show up in a 2018 Hyundai. Right. I've got to have a 2024 Corvette. When I only make $65,000 a year.
It's absolutely just that instant gratification.
I mean, Warren today drives a car that's 15 years old and doesn't spend more than $3 on breakfast every morning. I'm not saying let him like him. He is worth something like 70 billion as of today. But again, I absolutely think the mindset of I want it, I'm going to get it.
Right.
Just because somebody says you approve it. This was a huge problem in 2008. We had the breath loans where if you could breathe, you could get a mortgage.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So just because they say know what your income is and please live by the 25 to 28% should be your house payment. That's your house, that's your insurance, and 15% should be your household car payment. That's your car and your insurance. You stick to that, you'll be okay. I can't stress that enough. Where I'm seeing the imbalance is now houses have gone up because of interest rates. Yeah. If you can't afford it, you can't have it. And if the cars have definitely gone up, not only because of interest rates, because of inflation. You have trucks that were 70,000, which is a lot, 3 years ago, or now 90. So be aware of depreciating assets and putting that much money into them.
Yeah. No, you're good. No, I think just doing small, every month, you're creating, future flexibility for yourself. Yes. You're gonna live stress free later, and just you're gonna have more choices if you do that now. Your flexibility in the future is going to be there. So I think, just to recap, I think the biggest thing is you're going to pay yourself first. You're going to try to automate your savings. We want to create buckets, for our income. That 50-30 rule is just kind of a good starter place. And then allow for some fun.
And I'll stress this, and this has been something, and this is a personal anecdote here too, because I love this, because I get this all the time, especially with the younger. I'm picking on them, but I don't mean to. But if we have older people and you're trying to get, and we get this. How many clients do we have? Well, I can't just get my kid in here to invest. I can't get my grandson in here to invest. Well, they don't feel like they make enough. You can afford $50 a month.
Exactly.
That's $12.50 a week. That's one trip maybe to Chick-fil-A. That's 2 less lattes a week. I promise you can afford it. What I mean by that is when I first started out with my girls, right after they were born, once you got a social security number and a name and birth, you can go and open a 529 plan. I started out, I wasn't making a lot with $50 a month for both. Then I increased it to $100. Then I increased it to $200. I still wasn't putting in $500 a month for my girls.
Yeah.
By the time Megan graduated high school, there was a high 5-figured account because we had compounding interest. It was over 18 years. Peyton, same thing.
Right.
And now the majority of their college is paid for, and I'm able to take it out tax-free. And I started out with $50 a month. And why was I able to increase it? Because I made more money. I was already used to it.
Yeah.
It was just like a 401k. I wasn't spending that money, and I didn't put thousands and thousands in it. But I see so many people, my kids can get a loan. Man, UTA right now is $15,000.
You start small and increase that over time.
So anyway, that was something that was important to me. Same thing with Roth. But don't be afraid because you don't have, quote unquote, a lot. Start. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Create that habit and start.
You're not investing in yourself.
Yeah. I didn't mean to say that exactly. No, that's good. So that's our episode for today, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Money Matters. Share, like, follow, comment, Facebook.
All the thing.
TikTok. I don't even know if we have a TikTok, baby. But anyway, hopefully you like me.
TikTok.
Show this to your young kids and tell them to get off the couch and put some money in the market and be done with it. Okay. Good to see y'all. Have a great day.